Hey, what's up everybody? BDF 44 coming at you another video. Alright, so tonight is a much better night than last night. I don't know why, because I have much more to worry about with such condensed time of getting kicked out of here if things don't go right with the extension. But I don't know, I just think the vibes is better because I think I've gotten reconnected with the Lord, like I always tell y'all. So it's like when you're not doing right as you know it, and then you get hit with some hard times, it's like now I gotta apologize to God. Hope he sees favor in me. Hope he sees the grace necessary to provide me or whatever. Hope he want to give me a break. But when you're on track, you don't really fall to that. That's not really what it is for me. I feel a lot better just in general, even though the problems are as they are. You just have a better outlook on them altogether. So, excuse me. Yeah, that's what's going on there. I just feel a lot better tonight, even though things are bad, very, very bad. But nevertheless, you know, for what relative bad could be for my life, rather, because very, very bad is not what that is. But you know what I'm trying to say. For what I'm used to, it's rough. So, to be honest with you, I didn't really want to talk about the stuff I've been talking about. All of these things I'm saying out of my mouth right now, that's not really what I turned on the camera to actually talk about. I really had less intense stuff on my mind. Like, for example, what I was really thinking about before I turned on the camera and decided I wanted to talk was about a bunch of food that I used to eat. And I've probably gotten into it in this camera several times because, you know, I grew up a big kid. And what came to mind was, at first, the first thing that I was thinking was, I'm very happy right now because my chest is very sore. How does that correlate with bad foods? Well, I had fat pockets in my chest. That's what my problem was as a child. It caused me a lot of angst and a lot of anxiety, not anxiety, but self-consciousness and insecurity. Was my appearance and how I felt about my chest. My stomach didn't bother me. I was a fat kid, but I didn't care nothing about my stomach. It was my man tits that I got made fun of. It was my man tits that ultimately was where all that bad food fat went into, the thighs and them fat pockets in my chest. So that's just how my genetics go. Some of my dad had it on his side, even though he didn't really have that problem at all as a man. A couple of his kids may have. I think it was in his family, I guess you could say. So I just got it bad. But you know, I'm in a place where I've changed my diet, been working out for so long, and I'm finally targeting this area. And my left chest is particularly just so sore that I could barely lay back. Now, when I'm walking around, it's the strangest thing to how muscles work sometimes when they're growing in. Walking around, not really much pain. You saw me walking all day long. No problem today or yesterday. But when I lay back, it's like it clenches. That left chest, under chest just clenches because it's never actually had any muscle there until right now. So all this time, my chest has been trash, and it's finally starting to come together to look like an actual man's chest. So that's something that kind of took me down a rabbit hole. It had me thinking about some of the foods I had been eating, and I was thinking about Lay's potato chips because I had some chips today with my Subway sandwich, which was pretty good. I was thinking about that, and it took me down a rabbit hole about chips. And I was like, I hate sour cream chips, but I used to tolerate them, but I never really liked them. Like sour cream Lay's for me wasn't really it. In a little green bag, I'd eat it, but it's more like I tolerate it. It wasn't something I actually wanted to eat. The barbecue was good until I got to a certain age. I didn't really like that much. And those are, but the original is what I really enjoy. It's just that it's got so much grease in it, and I'm such a health nut these days, and I don't like eating it. But I enjoyed the hell out of those chips today. So it just took me down a rabbit hole that helped me, inspire me to turn on the camera. It wasn't really nothing serious, but that's kind of what I was thinking about. It's like, you know, just some of the foods that I used to eat as a child, man. I don't think it's too many things that I wanted to taste in this life, candy-wise, chips-wise, fast food stuff on the menu. I don't think it's too many things that I wanted to try that I haven't tried in that way with that type of food. I don't need no candy because I've tried them all, man. There's no candy that my mom did not purchase for me and herself. We bought anything she liked, she bought for herself, and I had opposite tasting candy. So between the two of us, we tried everything pretty much. And I just look back on some of that stuff. I just say, man, the sugar that I used to tolerate as a child, I don't think I could tolerate a fifth of 5% of that sugar right now. 5%. I used to eat a whole tub of red vines. When I say a tub, I mean, when they sell them like 800 in a big, huge thing for like $6 back in the day, it'd be like 800 of them. I promise you, there was a day where I sat down and ate half of that thing. And the following day, I finished off the rest of it. She had bought it for me for Christmas. I promise you that thing was gone by the 27th. It was gone. Like I was a bottomless pit for red vines, man. I ate so many red vines, I don't need another one. And that's what I'm here to say. One of the reasons why I'm able to eat so ridiculously healthy and so ridiculously monotonous is because I think I spent a lifetime already eating that stuff. I had a whole lifetime as a childhood eating that crap. And it did exactly what that stuff does to you when you do that. And so, as I have all these issues with my stomach now, I know why that is. It's because of the habits that I had to start. If I would have been like this my whole life, I'd have been so healthy. It ain't even funny. But that was not how we rolled back in the 80s and 90s and early 2000s. It's not how we rolled. We go to the movies every Friday. Sodas and candy. Like every Friday. In the mornings, McDonald's. Bacon, egg, and cheese biscuit. Hash brown. Give me an extra hash brown. I need strawberry jam on there. Later on, I started to tolerate grape. But I don't like grape. I'm a strawberry guy. And it has to be bacon, egg, and cheese biscuit with orange juice. I don't really like coffee at all. I only had very small pockets of time in my life where I drank coffee. Didn't work out for me. I'm not a coffee guy. But I know how to make it, as you guys know. We talked about that yesterday. But, you know, it's one of the things where it's like, man, I can't even tell you how many types of candy I've tried. Like Almond Joy and Milk Duds. I used to eat Milk Duds like it was grapes, man. I used to eat Milk Duds like they were grapes. You know what I'm saying? It would be sometimes when it'd be in the summertime, and we actually enjoyed this, but they would get locked together. And, you know, you put them together in a space where it's supposed to be cool, but for whatever reason it's so hot they just melt. Or you left them in the car or something, and we'd have this big gunk of Milk Dud to where it's just caramel and chocolate. It tastes amazing to me back in the day, and I promise you I don't want nothing to do with it right now. I just have different taste buds, man. You know, and she would mix them with almonds. Sometimes I would put the Milk Duds in the fridge so they would get cold and hard, and then I would be able to like treat them like they were hard candy. I'm telling y'all, man, I did it all. When it came to bad foods, man. Taco Bell. I think I told y'all about my infamous Taco Bell era, where every time I go to Taco Bell, and it would usually be about twice a week, maybe even more than that. 4 or 5 hard shell tacos. And then I needed a burrito supreme. And of course, large Mountain Dew. If it wasn't Mountain Dew, it was the Blue Blast Mountain Dew, whatever it came out with later. It's terrible. I don't like the taste of it now, but I loved it back then. That's the type of stuff I was on, man. I mean, all the time. We go to McDonald's. Filet-O-Fish was my mom's favorite. I kind of went through different phases of Filet-O-Fish, Big Macs. Of course, you got to get the McFlurry when they finally came out with that. Love that. What else, man? That's really my thing. Oh, let's not forget about Burger King. You kidding me? Burger King? I needed a... Now, this is when it was really a thing for me. Because I was crazy about them Burger King double Whoppers. But then I would take the fries... Before they changed them, because once they made the change, they changed the fries somewhere in the early 2000s. Didn't taste the same after that. But the early fries, when you put them in that double Whopper, it would make the sandwich about half as big as my head, man. From my nose all the way to my chin. That's how fat I would make them sandwiches. And I would tear them up. Every time we'd go to the laundromat on Sunset and, what was it? Over there by... where I used to go to Children's Club. Right now, it's probably like a Home Depot over there across the street. If anybody knows Sunset down there by Sunset Western, that area. If you know LA, you know what I'm talking about. It's a little place over there on the left side of the street, across the street. Now it's like I think it's a Starbucks there now. It's a lot of changes since, but it should be a Burger King there with that laundromat. Every time I go to the laundromat, I need to go to Burger King. And every time I go to Burger King, I need to get that double Whopper with the fries in it, man. Large fries, and I'm stuffing them fries in the sandwich in multiple pockets. You got You got two pieces of patty in there, right? So I gotta have fries in between all corners of the patty. They gotta have fries at one side and the other side, one side, other side. Smash it together, put a little extra ketchup on it, and go crazy. And I'm telling you, to this very second, I'm pretty sure that I would enjoy the taste of that. But yeah, I'm telling you, man, I had real big boy tendencies. That's why I don't want people to think nothing other than the humility of where I'm at. When I talk about how I'm happy to see what I see in the mirror, it took literally 39 years to throw all that off, to undo all of that flubber that I put on my body, eating ways that I know people are still eating every day, and I know what it does to the body, man. I know exactly what it does to the body. I have no interest in it, but I have memories of it, which is why I have no interest in it. I can distinctively still taste some of that stuff in my mouth. I eat so much of that crap. You know, and it doesn't end there, y'all. Obviously, it don't end there. I mean, it was so much. We ordered pizza a lot. You know, we tried all the pizza, sliced everything pizza. Any type of pizza we wanted, we tried it all. Fast food, chicken, KFC. They had a KFC across the street from our local McDonald's on Vine in Hollywood. I'm sure it's been gone for a long time. But that's a place where my mom liked to go. When I want to go to McDonald's, she would want to go over to that little KFC. And so when we go to KFC, if I ever want a KFC, gotta have the biscuits, gotta put honey on the biscuits. You know, certain stuff. I love the mashed potatoes that they had with the gravy. That was always my thing. She liked coleslaw. I hate coleslaw. Please never put coleslaw in front of me. I'll never want it. There's no coleslaw that I've ever really liked. None of them. I hate it all. Just like I hate all relish. Don't put no sweet pickles or any relish in front of me. I don't like any of that. Just for the record. But anyway. So yeah, that. And you got hot dogs in the movie theater. Popcorn in the movie theater. Red Vines in the movie theater. Milk duds in the movie theater. Sodas in the movie theater. And this is often. I'm talking twice a week. Maybe more sometimes. My mom was a movie fanatic. So yeah, man, that's what I want to reflect on. It's just how bad of a start I got eating. We didn't do too much pork. We really didn't, because my body reacted so poorly to pork even back then. I would get congested, heavily congested, snorting, hawking, and having just the horrible, worst headaches possible. So I stayed away from pork. Even then, I wasn't really a pork guy, unless of course it was bacon, because that bacon, egg, and cheese biscuit was for real for me. But for whatever reason, bacon never made me react that way. If it was bacon, I didn't have that problem. But if I'm eating pork chops, pork ribs, yeah, that's been bad all my life. I can't do it. You'll never see me order pork ribs. You put them little bitty ribs in front of me, I'm probably not gonna want them. I don't care how good the barbecue sauce is. I might have problems with it. Make it beef. So yeah, that's what I'm telling the truth, man. It's just food. I'm a food guy. I just know that now that I've gotten older, I'm so health conscious. And as you get older, you really can't get away with eating certain stuff. And you see the processed food, and you can tell the difference when you don't eat it, how thin your face is, how, you know, all of that, versus when you do eat it, how puffy your face is. One thing that my thing was, my face was always puffy until I've gotten older now and I started changing my diet. But all throughout probably like from 34 behind that, anything behind 34, I had like a puffy, chubby face. Even when I was losing weight and jogging, I had a chubby face because it was always that processed food, always in bad foods coming in. You know, and when even, you know, during the time I was jogging, I was improving my eating habits, but they were still not good. Eggos, and I think I mentioned Eggos because I had Eggos in my backpack, as I was telling you guys in the earlier therapy session when I was leaving Dunsmuir, blah, blah, blah. So I ate Eggos a lot. Hash browns. Gotta have hash browns and ketchup. And then I had my own egg thing that I'm gonna tell you the truth. I would put some very weird ingredients in the egg, and people would enjoy those eggs. That's really what it came down to. They taste amazing because I'd put all kinds of stuff in. I remember I put ketchup, syrup, hot sauce, onion. It was a bunch of wacky stuff that you never want to see together. But if you mix it all up in an egg, if it's done correctly, it tastes good. Now, if you put... I stopped that ketchup crap, though. Ketchup didn't need to go in there. Eventually, it just got to a point where it's like, that's what's throwing it off. So I wouldn't suggest that. But yeah, that's how I used to make my eggs, man. Scramble them up. Scramble them up with syrup, hot sauce, 21 season. They had to have some seasoning in there. 21 seasoning. I don't even know if they still sell that. And oregano sometimes. I don't know if it was oregano, something like that. And yeah, I would stir that up and just throw it on the skillet and cook that. And put the Eggos in the oven for a couple minutes. Get the little Morningstar sausage. What else did I have? Probably some turkey bacon or regular bacon, because back then I would use regular bacon and cook it up every day. Loved it to death. And would just be chubby, man. It just would not necessarily understand why my body never looked like the people I wanted to look like. You know, and it was like my metabolism and my activity level combined was never going to allow me to get in shape unless I just put all that down and started doing the things that I ultimately started doing later on in my 20s and 30s. So it's like, when I look back on my childhood, I just understand that we thought we were healthy. Believe it or not, we didn't think we were like 100% healthy, but we didn't look at it like I'm looking at it. Put it like that. There wasn't nothing wrong with the way we're eating in our minds, but at the same time, it's like we knew we were out of shape. You know, I watched my mom's health started to go down the wayside. This was way before no cancer, but just like she started having shortness of breath and stuff like that. I know what it was from. It was eating garbage. We was eating garbage on a consistent basis, man. So I just look back on that, and I just really consider, like, there has to be a balance for people like myself when we have our own kids. Because what you don't want to do, and most people my age already have kids, but I'm still one of those people who don't have one. But what you don't want to do is, because you were raised the way you were, now you got your kids eating nothing but Brussels sprouts and broccoli. You don't let them eat nothing tasty. I don't regret any of that, because it gave me an understanding of what I like, and it gave me an understanding of what I don't like, and it gave me plenty of memories of all of that. So when I look back on my time eating poorly, I don't necessarily need any of that anymore, because I stuffed my face full of it as a child. So I appreciated that, because now I can go without it forever. Basically, most of that stuff I don't never have to eat again. And I don't know if I would have been raised with Brussels sprouts and only fruits and vegetables if I wouldn't be sneaking cheat meals and then by the end of my life eating terrible just because I was depraved of all that stuff. You got to be careful. You don't want to apply what you weren't given or what you were given that you didn't like to your childhood, to your children. You know what I mean? The stuff that didn't work out in your childhood, you don't want to overcompensate for what it is you ultimately weren't able to receive yourself. So yeah, that's something that I don't want to do if I'm lucky enough to be a dad someday. I want my kids to be able to enjoy some of what I had, but I want them to also understand what it does to their body. And if they want to feel a certain way or look a certain way, you can't do it. You can't eat that way, and you can't get used to eating that way. It's to the point where you're addicted to some of that stuff. And a lot of the stuff is in those foods, I believe, are addictives. I really do believe. Because a lot of that stuff I only want once I've had it. You see what I'm saying? You be like, damn, I want some. Why do I want some? You know what I mean? Right now, I don't want anything as far as craving foods. But it's like, if I go and grab a Whopper right now, chances are probably 9 days from now, I'm going to have a taste for a Whopper. And so it's just like, I don't know if there's addictives in there. Maybe that's just the psychology of having something you like to eat or whatever. It tastes good, but I just seem to think that sometimes you just feel like you're drawn to spend your money, and it's like, it's not something that otherwise would be chosen unless you had already, if something was in there foreign to make you want it, I guess is what I'm saying. So I do believe some of the foods have additives in it. But yeah, man, that was my thing back in the day. Soda, my mom loved root beer. I like root beer floats. I wasn't the biggest fan of root beer by itself, but you throw some vanilla ice cream in it, it's the best thing in the world to me. And so that was one of the things we used to do when we go to the Beverly Center. They had an A&W store way back in the day. It's one of the little places you can go get something to eat. And we would always go to the steak and cheese place, whatever they used to sell Philly cheesesteaks. I don't remember the name of it, but I loved that place back in the day. And then I go across the way to get my root beer float. And I can't tell you how many times we did that, man. Like, I don't know that we cooked very much. Now I look back on, when I look back on my childhood, especially my early days of development, 10, 11, 12, man, I honestly remember going to fast food joints more than I remember eating at home. I really do, man. Because every time we went out, we was eating. Every time we went out, we was spending money on food. You know what I mean? morning and night. It's like, that's so unhealthy for you, man. And I'm just hoping that some of the stomach issues that I've grown to have aren't irreversible because of it. It's all of that bad food I ate all of my childhood, man. And then the inactivity, you know what I mean? It wasn't bad to eat that bad. Now I gotta sit down and play video games for 8 hours after eating like that. In between them meals, with a tub of red vines in front of me while I'm sitting. It's like, of course my body went to hell, man. It wasn't nothing else for it to do. It wasn't nothing else for it to do. And so it's one of those situations where while I enjoyed my memories of sheepishly just eating whatever I wanted and not correlating it with how horrible I felt both mentally and physically, ultimately I'm more than aware of that now and have absolutely no desire to head back down that road. None at all. You know, and I'll tell you the truth, I was a beef guy. Beef. If there was a choice between chicken, beef, or pork, I'm taking beef 100% of the time as a child. 100% of the time. Chicken was mom. She was never going to take beef. She wasn't necessarily going for pork. Chicken. But yeah, man, every type of beef there was. If you could think of how to cook beef, if you could think of how to cook a cow, I've probably tried it, man. Whatever it is, I've tried it. You know, and so it's like, I just get to a point where like, you don't need none of that no more, man. That's why you see me ordering goat on my birthday, because that's one of the few things I've never tried. Literally. I had liver. My dad used to cook the liver on Sundays. It smelled good. It tastes pretty good too when I look back on it. He made it very well, but I had pate. Didn't taste the same. Also liver. You know what I mean? I had lamb. We ate lamb. We had a little stint where we like to make lamb chops at the house. Of course, we fry it. And that's another thing. I will admit that some of those fried foods were delicious, for sure. My mom had this deep fried cooker. We used to make these little bitty chicken wings. I tell you, if I could have some of those right now, I'd eat them for sure. We really deep greased them though, man. It was some deep grease. I'm talking like, you know, a good bottle of Crisco. We would use a third of that thing for one of those. And I think that's how, you know, that's probably normal. But that's not how I cook today, man. Chicken has to be baked. I ain't putting no deep grease like that today, but it tastes great. And we used to put the little, what type of hot sauce did we like? I don't remember what type of hot sauce we like, but I know it was distinctive. I know it was not Louisiana. I believe it was Tabasco for that. I believe we were Tabasco people, but that was a great stint for me, man. When we had that deep fryer, and got those little bitty chicken wings, and she started making those. Man, that was one of my favorite mom meals. But yeah, man, it's a lot of good stuff. She makes something called monkey bread that she liked a lot. That she brought down from the Bay Area. Really sweet bread, almost like Hawaiian bread. It tastes great when she made it. And it was something that was like her signature thing, monkey bread. Let's make some monkey bread. It was like a big to-do. What else? She had milkshakes that she used to make all the time with bananas in it, which is why I love bananas now so much, because I grew up on that. The milkshake would be milk. I don't remember if she put syrup in it or not. I don't remember. Honey. Honey was definitely what it was. You put the banana in there. I don't think there was anything else in there. Banana, honey, and milk. I think that was the only 3 ingredients we used. And we would put them in the blenders, maybe 30 to 60 seconds or so, and that would be the best tasting shake. I swear nobody made a better shake than my mom with just those 3 ingredients and make it taste so good. I don't know how she did it. But like, speaking of shakes, she needed strawberry shake. I usually went for vanilla at McDonald's. It's like, I've had it all, man. Ain't nothing I wanted I didn't try. Nothing. You know, school foods that I would try from school, man. I remember I had something called Armenian pizza. Delicious. Delicious. I love Armenian pizza. And they usually served it cold, if I remember correctly. Wasn't nothing like regular pizza. It wasn't even shaped like the regular pizza. They just called it pizza. It actually looked more like a little, like, thin type of sandwich, more like a quesadilla type of deal. Kinda, not at all, but something closer to that than pizza. Whatever the case may be, it was good, and I ain't forgot it. But yeah, y'all see where my head is at? I'm telling y'all, it was food, man. It was really food. It wasn't all that stuff that we normally talk about. It ain't my problems. I'm just thinking about old food and how I did enjoy it, but would not enjoy it today. I don't believe. Some of them I would, most of them I wouldn't. And I don't reflect on this very much at all, which is why I wanted to make a therapy session on it, because I really don't think about this. But since I'm in the mood right now, couldn't necessarily find myself falling asleep. But did want to lay down for sure to let this body heal. So yeah, man, it's one of those things where I got off to a bad start, but I got all that I needed out of that bad start to feel good about never needing to go back to it. So that's what I'm thankful for. No question that I didn't have enough bad food in my life to enjoy it. I want to keep down this rabbit hole because I know there's more there that I loved, like absolutely loved. I could tell you something that's coming to mind that we didn't love though. The first time when I tried cilantro, I had never had that before, man. And if anybody knows what cilantro tastes like raw, it basically tastes like soap. If you ever had a bar of soap actually get in your mouth, and cilantro raw tastes only like that to me. And so I remember I had something. We went to some seafood place on Vine. It was on Vine across the street from one of those big time Hollywood theaters that they do plays in. I forget. I think it's not the Pantages. It's the other one around the corner. I don't remember the name of it. But whatever the case may be, there used to be a little Chinese store further up the street. I don't remember the name of that place, but we used to go there. And one time we ordered some type of seafood, like platter. I don't know what it was, like a platter or some type of. They just throw a bunch of seafood in, throw a bunch of stuff in it. You just pick out of it, and you just eat whatever you got. But they drenched it in cilantro, like they overdid the cilantro, and we had never tried cilantro. So the first thing we did when we tasted that, we went back to this dude, and the person who was giving it to us. We were like, "What did you put in it? It tastes like soap. Like, what did you put soap in our food?" We were tripping. But that's when we became educated on what cilantro was, and we tried it again. We did a little better with it as we became to understand what it was we were dealing with. But man, that was my first experience with cilantro. It was basically seafood drenched in soap. It was terrible. So that's what came to mind. Nothing good. That was bad. Oh, and one time, now my mom swore up and down that her chicken had been urine on at Knott's Berry Farm. Now, I'm not trying to ruin Knott's Berry Farm's experience. This was back when I was 9 years old. I'm 39 now, so ain't nobody messing up your chicken today. But back in the day, I think it was my 9th birthday, actually. I went to Knott's Berry Farm, and at the end of the night, after we had finished doing all the stuff, we were getting ready to hit the road, we decided we were going to stop in a restaurant, celebrate my birthday, get something to eat. And sure enough, I don't know if that was my 9th birthday. It might not have been 9th, because I think I went to Rage of Water on 9th birthday. But that ain't the point. You get the point. It's somewhere back there. Went there. Went to one of their little fancy, nice little restaurants. Sat down. Ambiance was great. Looked real nice. All the stuff looked good. And then when they brought us the food, my mom smelled the food, and she said she smelled piss. Like she could smell they had pissed on it. And she put it up to my nose. I didn't get that. But she was dead set on that being chicken that had been urined on, and she did not eat it. And so I just remembered that, man. And believe it or not, that was actually the same day I almost died on the boomerang ride. It's the exact same day, because the thing malfunctioned on me, and as we were getting ready to go up on a loop, the seat popped open. Luckily, I only weighed like 70 pounds, so my mom was able to push that seat back down. She was up top of it. And I had my hands on the seat, so when it came up, it wasn't like I had lost grip. But that wasn't the point. We were getting ready to go on a flip. And if that thing would have, obviously, I ain't even got to tell you how that went, would have went for me. Yeah, same day. So, a lot of memories from that Knott's Berry Farm trip. Not the greatest ones. But that's how we move. Me and Mom, we go out, birthdays, celebrate everything. You know, for my birthday, we usually go into one of them places. Knott's Berry Farm. She did not like Magic Mountain. That's where I couldn't get my mom to take me. Never. I went there a million times with other people, but not with her. She was not a Magic Mountain person. But we went to all the other ones. Disneyland, Universal Studios, Raging Waters, all that stuff. Medieval Nights. If anybody ever heard of Medieval Nights, it's a nice little place to go take your kids. They do like cosplay for like the medieval times. And if they still do it the same way they bring out like big, huge turkey wings. And you eat them off the bone, and then they give you some soup. But I think I don't remember how that goes. I was young, really, really young. But it was something unique about the soup. Maybe they didn't give you a spoon or something. I don't remember what it was. But it was really good food. I still remember that. And it was a really good time there, man. Really good time. So it was a lot of stuff that me and Mom did together and would eat bad, man. Eat bad. But if you let her tell it, she wouldn't agree. She would not agree. She would say we just ate, we ate regular. But it wasn't regular. It wasn't nothing regular about that if you ask me. So yeah, man, it was a lot of good stuff though. A lot of good stuff. I wish more would come to mind. But my Taco Bell, McDonald's, Burger King days, KFC. We would go to KFC a lot more than Popeyes because there wasn't really a Popeyes around. In the area that I was at the time. Yeah, there was. It was on Hollywood, but it didn't have a drive-thru, so we wasn't about to be walking on down there like that. That wasn't how we did it very often. Plus, that was like a really shady Popeyes on Hollywood. It's probably still there. I ain't been down to Hollywood in a while, but that Popeyes, it's been standing my entire life. And it was always something going on there. Newsstand, homeless folks, gangbanging. There was always something happening. So we didn't really go down to Popeyes very much, but we definitely went to that KFC. So yeah, man, that's what it is. I grew up in Hollywood, California, man. A lot of people don't really think of Hollywood as anything other than just some movie stars and all that, but it has its parts, man. If for those who know the area, they know what it is. You got hoods all over that place. But we were able to, keep me out of that, and we kind of stayed to ourselves. We stayed away from the nonsense, and we had fun, man. A lot of fun. Me and my mother did the movies, and went to sporting events. Went to a couple Laker games, went to a couple hockey games too. Mom and I don't think she bought tickets for the hockey game, but we'd have them somehow. She'd get them, stuff like that, man. What else? Early movie showings, because she worked in the industry, so she would get what they call like special screenings sometimes. So we would see a movie maybe like a couple weeks before it would come out, or maybe a month before it come out, or if she was doing one of those focus groups, a whole year before the movie came out. Yeah, so those were things that were real fun for me growing up. Concerts and stuff like that. Anita Baker concerts, Janet Jackson concerts. Tried to go to the Michael Jackson concert, but I told y'all how that went yesterday. There's a lot of stuff we did, man. We did it all.